Howdy mates, good afternoon. What's going on? Here's a third video for today's footage. We're actually now officially at Emerson Point Preserve. You see, Emerson Point is essentially the westernmost point on Sneed Island. That being said, this place is just slightly further up north than what we commonly have heard of, Robinson Preserve. They're not the same parks, so just keep that in mind if any of you ever want to visit such places. Anyways, just directly ahead of us is the Tampa Bay, which is, of course, the largest estuary in the state of Florida. And if you look carefully, let's see, maybe zoom in even a little more, that is the famous Skyway Bridge right there. And I tell you what, I've had to go on that bridge quite a few times for work, and when it's windy out, I get quite nervous when I'm on that bridge, just saying. So yeah, we've got some red mangrove right here. Just look at this, like the actual the actual stem or the main body of the mangrove is all the way up here. Meanwhile, these are all prop roots. It's amazing. It's just how this can literally harbor a nursery and even contribute to the formation of oyster reefs. I mean, just nature is truly versatile. But really, what I wanted to cover was a bit on the subject matter of seagrass beds. Now, the thing is, we would have to go a bit more further in the water, but what you need to know is basically Florida has been known to have 7 different types of seagrass in terms of the species. Now, please note too, seagrass is not the same thing as algae. You see, the difference between the two is seagrass actually has a root system by means of rhizomes, whereas algae, on the other hand, has no established root at all. And algae does not flower either, unlike seagrass. So that's a couple different ways you can differentiate. Now, the thing is, what you'll commonly see, especially in this part of Florida, well, let's back it up a little bit. I said there are 7 types, so here we go. I'm going to try this. You've got manatee, turtle, widgeon. Oh boy, this is a little tough. Shoal Grass, Johnson's, so it's 5. All right, and Johnson's, by the way, is considered to be the most rare type of seagrass. So it's noted that they're only seen usually at Key Biscayne or the Sebastian Inlet on the Atlantic. It's distinguished by, I believe, they're distinctive by having elongated leaves on them. So that was already 5. So we've also got paddlegrass and stargrass. Stargrass is very distinguished by having 5 to 7 different lobes of leaves, basically. But the thing is, what we'll commonly see, especially in the Tampa Bay, even the Charlotte Harbor, or even Lemon Bay, just a couple of examples of estuaries, you're going to commonly see turtle grass, manatee grass, and shoal grass. Now, let's see if we can find an example of each. Alright, here we go. Oh, perfect. So this particular example that I'm holding right now, this is most likely a manatee grass. And it's so known to be manatee grass, given the fact that the grass itself, the stem, is completely cylindrical. And, of course, manatees have been known to feed on this as a common food source. How ironic that we're also near the Manatee River as well. The thing is, though, this particular seagrass is actually very picky, especially when it comes to salinity. So it cannot handle varying salinity. So if it goes up and down quite frequently, it can't inhabit that particular area. So that's something worth noting. Okay, here we go. Here we've got an example of a turtle grass. So turtle grass is usually known to be a bit wider in terms of its width, and it's flat. Now, you can actually see on the tip there, you can actually see some different algae that resides on the seagrass. So essentially the algae is relying on the seagrass as a base. And for another, it's a very important food source for our wildlife. Now, hold on just a second. Okay, I had no luck finding any. It would obviously take a little more time, but the third common type we will see usually here is shoal grass. It looks very similar, in terms of size compared to the manatee grass, but shoal grass is flat and narrow, and usually it has a distinctive node at the tip of that particular species. But shoal grass that I speak of, it's a pioneer species. So what that basically means is if there's been any disturbance, whether it be from boats, for example, or development, it is always shoal grass that comes back first. So as soon as you see shoal grass, that's actually a very good sign, because that means you're starting to have a bit of a recovering seagrass bed. Now, what's really the importance that we should take away from this? Well, these seagrass species, they essentially form the base of the food web because they're plants. So they have the capability to carry out photosynthesis, in which they can convert sunlight energy to basically produce sugar as a result, glucose. And they also provide oxygen as a result. Now, of course, photosynthesis breaks down even further, but considering that this video is already 8 minutes long, I'm not going to quite go that much further with it. But the point is, basically a square foot, or I think it was an acre, one of the two, they can sequester a lot of carbon dioxide. I'll be sure to put the exact number because it's at the tip of my tongue. I can't quite come up with the number, but I know it is a high one, and it is usually measured in metric tons. So they deserve protection, as they do provide a service. So, alright, you guys, take care, enjoy your Sunday, and by the way, too, if any of you are free at all on the 28th, which is a Tuesday, I will actually be leading a seagrass wading trip on behalf of Cedar Point Environmental Center. So, it's up to you guys. Alright, peace out.